Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. It is Tuesday the 12th of May. How's everyone doing at home? Happy lockdown everyone. We're getting through it together. We're getting through it. We've got some news today. This is coming from the Express. So we'll look at the validity of this report. But this is pretty big news really, suggesting that a move for Mousa Dembele is getting close. He's been someone who we've been linked with over the last few months, since January. Every so often this name comes up. Mousa Dembele, Lyon striker, of course, for those of you who don't know him, has been linked, has been rumoured, is continuing to be linked and rumoured. We're going to look at the article in a minute. We're also going to be looking at the future of Odion Ighalo at Manchester United and how that relates to the likelihood of any Dembele transfer. So let's get into that then, shall we? How's everyone doing at home, first of all? Happy Tuesday, everyone. Morning, Joe. Morning, Eric. Good morning, Joe. Morning, Mitz. Someone saying hashtag Joe out. Unbelievable. Mousa Dembele then. It's coming, like I said, it's coming from the Daily Express. Man United closing in on £60 million Mousa Dembele transfer with striker ready to snub Chelsea. Manchester United boss Ole Solskjaer is looking to sign a striker this summer with Lyon's Mousa Dembele fitting the bill. Already backtracking a little bit, isn't it? Mousa Dembele, Man United are increasingly confident of completing a £60 million deal for Lyon striker Mousa Dembele. The Red Devils are battling Chelsea for the signature of the 23-year-old. Bloody hell, I can't believe he's only 23. Look, it seemed like he was playing at Celtic for about 10 years, didn't it? Dembele has been in fine form this season, netting 22 goals for the league unside. United have been tracking the forward for the last 12 months and view him as a possible long-term replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has sent scouts to watch Dembele at least 3 times in the last 6 months as he tries to convince him to make a switch to Old Trafford. Chelsea are also keen on the impressive former Celtic forward, but the player himself has made sure United know that he is their preferred choice. I think has made sure United know he is their preferred choice. I think he means there. I think this article should have said they are his preferred choice, because he can't tell United that he's our number one choice. He tells United that we're his number one choice. Let me read that again. Chelsea are also keen on the impressive former Celtic forward, sure, but the player himself has made sure United know that he is their preferred choice. Come on, Daily Express. I expect better grammar than that. That doesn't make sense, does it? That's like saying, just so you know, you fancy me. It's like, I get to tell who I fancy, not you. He's like, just so you know, United, I'm your preferred choice, and I'm letting you know that. There's a problem with that sentence there. What it should have said, Chelsea are also keen on the impressive Celtic forward, but the player himself has made sure United know that they are his preferred choice. The Daily Star, they're quoting the Daily Star now! The Daily Star claim Ed Woodward is now poised to make his move, knowing Lyon may have to sell as they miss out on European qualification. The French season, this is where, because you sort of think, I'm going to say, isn't everyone losing a bit of money, so the market will come down, but the transfers will still go on? Well, here's the difference. The French season has been abandoned due to coronavirus crisis, and that could have massive financial consequences on some sides in the country. Lyon president Jean-Michel Aulas has now admitted he might have no choice but to sell Dembele. He said, I'm going to do everything to keep the players, but the players who are programmed to play in Europe could go elsewhere because we don't have European football. This is the thing. This is why it's not just as you think, well, everyone's saying the transfer market's going to be all weird this year. There's going to be less deals. There's going to be less going on. All the prices are going to come down. You sort of think, well, surely we're all in the same boat. Won't the prices just come down, but we can still do the same amount of deals, but just for less money? Well, France have cancelled their league. Belgium have cancelled their league. Bundesliga's coming back next week. Premier League's coming back in about a month. The Football League is cancelled. Not the Football League. The non-league is cancelled. So you just think we're not on a level playing field here. Lyon are a sort of team that could maybe have pushed for a European spot toward the end of the season. Can't do that now because it's locked. So it's not as though we're all in the same boat. Everyone's doing this differently. Everyone's taking a different approach to this, which means that the way that the money is lost, the TV revenue that they've lost, will be more than the TV revenue that the Premier League lose, despite potentially still losing around 300 million if you believe the reports coming out yesterday. So we're not all in the same boat as many times. Why'd I have to say that so many times? Not every country is doing this the same way, which means that the financial ramifications and effects of the way that each country does things will be different for each country. So it's not just as simple as, let's just pay. He was worth 60, we'll give you 50 because we've all got less money. Some people have less money than others, if that makes any sense. I know it doesn't, but, Sancho and CDM has to be priority and keep Pogba. We are set to challenge. It's amazing the turnaround in the last sort of couple of months, isn't it? From where we were just before Christmas, just before that, the first set of Tottenham City games where we won them both, the sort of 2 or 3 months before that were really rough. And then we had that good spell there, we had a bit of a drop off again, and then this recent run of form. All of a sudden people were getting excited and thinking we're only a year or two away from challenging for the title again. Bit arrogant, that. What's a bit arrogant? I don't know what you're referring to as being arrogant there. Has Joe had his morning cup of Joe? Yeah, I had one before I came on. I don't think he's good for United. 60 million seems a lot for a player that's. I know he's 23, isn't old, especially for strikers. Well, it depends really, doesn't it? Strikers can come through really hot when they're 18, 19, like Michael Owen, or some of them take a bit longer. You get to 25, 26 before you start seeing goals out of them. But he did well for Celtic. He's done all right for Lyon. It's hard to know, isn't it? He scores less than, or a similar amount to Memphis Depay did at Lyon, and he just didn't seem to handle the pressure of United and the size of United very well at all. So you never know, really. You've got to hope the scouting department are doing their job. The phrasing used by the article seems arrogant. Yeah, potentially. It seems everything's even more speculation than usual, doesn't it? £60 million for Mousa Dembele seems a hell of a lot of money for me when we just sold Lukaku for that. And I know Lukaku wasn't necessarily a huge success now, but he scored 40 goals in 2 seasons and is one of the most prolific strikers of the last 5 years. So I don't think a similar fee for a lad who did decent in Scotland and all right in France. I think, and you're paying the same amount for him as we got for Lukaku. That doesn't seem right to me. I know, it's not always just a case of who scored more goals, you're worth more money. But he's only a couple of years younger than Lukaku. What's Lukaku, 25? 26? And he's 23? Unless he's staying for the rest of his career, you're probably going to get a 5-year contract out of him, and that'll be roughly it anyway, which is the same as what you'd get from Lukaku. So I don't think he's worth 60 million. If you could get him for maybe closer to 40, you're asking, there's potential there. But I personally don't necessarily see much value in a £60 million deal for him. Striker shouldn't be our priority. Joe, tell your number one CDM target. CDM's just, I don't know. There's such a hard position to pick because you kind of go the Carrick side of things, and it seems as though you've not got a CDM, and all of a sudden you're winning loads of games because your positioning's great. And those signings don't always, excite people too much. A Carrick style CDM, whether it's just about defensive positioning and in passing lanes and that way of doing things, or you go for a more sort of destructive enforcer type, and sometimes they just are, Bakayoko at Chelsea, where they fit the bill, they come in, they do a similar job to the people you've got, but they're younger, they come from an exciting team. Bakayoko looked sensational at Monaco, and then he came to Chelsea and just never hit the speed of the Premier League. So I don't know. Indeed, he would be the first choice for me, but I think he would be too expensive, especially this summer. Hi, Joe. Hope you're doing well, mate. You're looking fly as ever. Cheers, Mark. Let's go on to our second story. Thomas Partey's been mentioned there as well. He would obviously be high up on the list of CDMs to sign. But yeah, let's get into our second story today because it sort of links to the first one. People say maybe that Dembele isn't a first choice option or shouldn't be a first choice, or that we don't need a striker. Well, it's looking like Ighalo may be leaving. So perhaps we do need a striker. And this is coming from Sky Sports. Odion Ighalo, Man United face battle to keep loan signing. Newcastle thought to be interested in signing Ighalo if a takeover is completed. Shanghai Shenhua expect Odion Ighalo to return from his loan spell at Manchester United in time for the start of the new Chinese Super League season, which is scheduled to begin in July. United are keen to extend Ighalo's loan to cover the end of the Premier League season, but the date remains unclear amid the coronavirus pandemic. As it stands, Shanghai Shenhua will only allow Ighalo to remain at Old Trafford if it's on a permanent deal, and the Chinese club value him at upwards of £20 million. It's thought Newcastle would be interested in signing Ighalo. if their proposed takeover is completed this summer. Ighalo revealed last month that there's no offer on the table from United over extending his stay beyond the current loan spell, despite manager Ole Solskjaer hinting at a deal and that it could be made. The Nigerian striker made an encouraging start to life at United. We know all that. He's been very good. If Ighalo leaves, do we need a striker? Are we in need of another striker? I think one thing Ighalo's shown in his short time at United, I think he's obviously got some nice goals. He's been better than we thought. But I think he's really kind of pointed out a need for a striker in the squad that is excellent with his back to goal. I think we haven't had a back to goal striker since Zlatan. I think even Lukaku, I think people often misplace his talents and misdiagnose his talent as being a sort of hold-up man because he's tall, he's muscly. You think he'd be good at backing into the defender, holding the ball up, bringing other people in. He's better, breaking through lines and running onto balls. Lukaku is much, in my opinion anyway, Lukaku is a much better player facing goal than he is with his back to goal. And I think same can be said for Martial, although I think his hold-up play has improved. Same could be said for Rashford. Same could be said for Greenwood. And I think Ighalo is excellent with his back to goal. He backs into his defenders, brings other players in, and that's so good, especially late on in games when you're trying to hold on to a win or you're trying to, bring other players into a game. We saw against City the way he, just reverses into players and holds people off, and he's not as big as Lukaku, but it's just more of his strong suit to do that. And I think having a player like that at Old Trafford is just a great option to have, and that's one of the reasons why he's impressed so much. It's because he does things that no one else in the squad can do. No one else can hold the ball up the way Ighalo does. And like I said, I don't think since Zlatan we've had a player that can really back into a defender, keep the ball, play it off to the wingers or play it back into the midfield and carry on building attacks like that. So if we lose him, I think there is a position to be filled there. Ighalo's hold-up play was tremendous. He offers something different than Rashford and Martial, which would be needed if he goes. Yeah, exactly. That's why Dembele could be good. He's good with his back to goal, can get in behind and finish as well. That's the only reason I sort of give some sort of credence to the Dembele rumours, is because he does tick a box of a player that may be leaving. Tick a similar box to Ighalo. I think he's more talented in front of goal. I think he's more talented in and around the box. But in terms of having, when you look at the sort of the traits or the talents that a player can have, Martial, great dribbling, great finisher, great, tactical awareness, good passing. And then you've got Ighalo or Greenwood, great finisher, good on both feet, great attacking awareness, great. But the only one who's got the tick next to hold-up play, back to goal, is Ighalo. And we have seen, since he's been at United, that is something that is great to have as an option. We lost that in Fellaini. Fellaini was sensational at that. Turning with his back to a man, taking the ball on his chest. The best control of a ball with his chest I've ever seen in my life. We lost that with him. We lost that with Zlatan. And I think that was one of the problems with Lukaku as our main striker. I know he's good in the air, but his hold-up play was never there. It felt like the ball was just bouncing around too much. We would get the ball up to him, and next thing you know, they're counter-attacking because his touch wasn't great and his hold-up play wasn't great. Dembele is not as good as Ighalo. End of. £60 million. And he's not even as good as Ighalo, according to Glenn. I can't see Ighalo going anywhere other than United, but would Dembele agree to play second fiddle? There's another point. 60 million quid, he's making his big move. Obviously, Celtic to Lyon is a step up in terms of quality. And then, he's 23, he's playing for Lyon. His next move has to be, Juventus, Bayern, Atletico, Liverpool, United. If he wants to, take that next step up, there's probably a dozen or so clubs that he could join that are another notch above Lyon. And I think would he want to go to one of those clubs and not be first choice? But we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Get Dini if Ighalo leaves. I don't think that would be sensible or possible, personally. Everyone seems very keen on Ighalo. Ighalo over Dembele any day. Dembele is overrated. Yeah, there's not much love for Dembele. I'm surprised at that. Stephen Howson's a big fan of Dembele, or a fan of Dembele's. I don't think he's remortgaging his house on bets that he'll come to United, but there are, certainly people who are big fans of Dembele, and I think when you're looking at the style of player he is. If you've got all of our strikers on top trumps cards, he is a new style of striker that he wouldn't beat any of the others on maybe, talent or dribbling or speed or whatever, but he would beat all the rest on hold-up play and being a traditional number 9. Ñíguez on the verge as well, apparently. Nicholas, what's the source for that one, Nicholas? I really see Dembele at Chelsea. He seems like a Chelsea signing, doesn't he? How much does Dembele seem like a Chelsea signing? Now you've said it like that, I see him. Imagine Dembele in a Chelsea shirt. It just fits, doesn't it? I don't know why it doesn't seem like a United signing. But I'd welcome him with open arms, as I do with all new transfers. Let me know in the comments then whether you think Ighalo should leave and Dembele should come in at a cost of around 60 million. Because the Ighalo's ingratiated himself in the club and with the fans in a way that most players don't. Part of that is because he's a United fan. Part of it is because he's played well and he's impressed. And even the couple of things to remember as well with Ighalo, I think it was the Chelsea game was the first game he came on in. Should have scored. The game after that, I can't remember what it was. It was another biggish game. Should have scored. He had 2 really good chances in his first 2 games and missed them both. And I thought, when you have a lone striker, they need to hit the ground running because otherwise, next thing you know, you've got 2 goals in 12 appearances and nothing happens. So I was impressed by the way he came back from missing a couple of good chances and a chance to start his career really brightly, and still has managed to come back from that and start his career very brightly at United. So it would be a shame to see him leave. Next round of FIFA, Joe. Good question. It will probably be next week. For those in the Legends tier, we do a Pro Clubs team, and I'm thinking next week for that one. So that should be good. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, we always had more than one world-class striker, exactly. And at the moment, we arguably have none. Not to have a go at Martial, but it's his first season in about 4 years playing number 9. And I wouldn't say he's been world-class this year. I think he's been very good, but I wouldn't say he's been world-class. So we're in need of a world-class striker, certainly. Mitz said, sent you the Sal news, Joe. Let's go over that. Let's go over the Sal news. Someone mentioned it in the comments. This is it. Feedback. This is what you don't get on Sky Sports. You're watching Sky Sports. You can't text them news in. You can't tell them what they read their own news. I mean, they're usually reporting other reports, as are we. But where have you sent it, Mitch? You cheeky little devil. Is it in the? It might be in this WhatsApp group. But you can't text Sky Sports News and say, "Oh, report on this, please," because I want to hear what you think to this story, or I want to hear if there's any truth behind this story. Stretford Paddock, you can do that, and that is why that's why we love it here. Here we go. This is from the Daily Express then. And they are saying, look at this, this is fantastic, isn't it? Man United on the verge. It's always on the verge. Where is this verge? Is it like Henman Hill? It's some sort of grassy verge, I always like to imagine. That's where all the deals get done. On the verge of signing Saúl Ñíguez in spectacular £70 million transfer swoop. And this came out at 9:50 this morning. So this is fresh. This is hot off the press. If I touch my screen, I can smell the ink on this story. Man United could. Why doesn't it say will sign Saúl Ñíguez from Atletico when the transfer reopens this summer? Let me get rid of this, because we're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about this news. Manchester United are close to signing Atletico Madrid star Saúl Ñíguez for 70 million, Spanish media have claimed. The Spain international has been linked with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side for some time, and it seems like the Red Devils are close to landing their man, ending months of speculation in the process. Man United have turned down a chance to sign Sal when he was a teenager, but in recent years, he's flourished at Atletico Madrid. The Spain international has become a vital member of the squad. Forget it. Sal has a buyout clause of 142 million, but Todo Fichajes, Fichajes, claim United are on the verge of signing him for 70 million instead. It's claimed the talks between the two clubs are practically closed, and that the agreement will be made official by the end of the current campaign, whenever that will be. Atletico are willing to accept a lower fee for Saul because of how the coronavirus crisis has seen the player's value drop. What do you think to that? I think he would be a brilliant signing. I think he's sort of the Ander Herrera. If Ander Herrera was, a notch above where he is, slightly more robust defensively, slightly better going forward, he just seems like a classier. You know, if Ander Herrera is 6 in every stat across the board, which I don't think is a bad thing, by the way. I think it was a brilliant utility player. Maybe 6.5. Saúl is 7.5 in every stat. Good dribbling, good tackling, good shooting, good passing, can bring the ball out, can play in a holding position, can play as one of 2, can play as one of 3. I think Saúl would be a marked improvement on any equivalent player we have in the squad in his position. Interesting. 70 million for Saúl sounds too good to be true. Yeah, it has to be taken with a pinch of salt, of course, because it's coming from Todo Fichajes via the Express. And if you click on todofichajes.com, Man United Sierra El Fichaje du Sol por 80 million euro. So I'm not sure on the reliability of that source, but again, it's the Daily Express, so we'll take it with a pinch of salt. I think it'd be a great signing, but let's not look too much into that because we'll wait on that one a little bit until there's a slightly more reliable source coming out with some news for that one. Because it's not true, that's why, is it? It says it could. Come on, Joe, I thought you were the brains of the outfit. Well, I've just said that we're going to wait for a more reliable source because I'm not sure I trust that one. So thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you I'll take that as a compliment. You're saying I'm the brains. I know you're using it sarcastically against me because I was proving myself to be dumb, but actually I turned it around before I read the comment. So I'll take it as a compliment. Thank you very much, Glenn. Right, that's going to be all. And then Glenn's back. Would be a great signing if we could sign it, if we could get him. Speaking of back, we're going to be back this afternoon for the Paddock podcast. I'll be on there, so make sure you check that one out. How are you, Joe? How's the new apartment? It's good. Yeah, I'll be back for the Paddock podcast this afternoon. If you'd like to become a member, you saw before about pro clubs that we play with the Legends tier. There's 3 different tiers, and there's all sorts of fun stuff that you get for being in each one of those tiers. So, plenty to look forward to. Click the join button if you would like to do that. It helps the channel out. You get some extra stuff. You get some extra bits and bobs, and it's just a good time for everyone. And I think if you've got YouTube Premium, which I know that no one has, but if you do, I think you can get a membership for free. Similar way that the Twitch Prime subs from Amazon Prime work, I think the YouTube Premium, you can get a free Paddock membership for a month. So check it out if you'd like to do that. I have sources that tell me that works. So yeah, check that one out. Like I said, the Paddock podcast will be back at 4 p.m. today. So be sure to tune in for that. Hope you all have a lovely Tuesday. And we'll see you in a bit.